Hello students, good morning. Myself Muniraj Naidu, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. So today we are going to discuss about OSI reference model in computer networks. So in the previous classes, already we discussed introduction about the computer networks as well as the TCP/IP protocol suite. Now today we are going to see OSI reference model. What is the necessity of this OSI and what is the purpose of OSI and what are the various layers existing in OSI reference model, how those layers may communicate for accessing as well as transferring the information, right? See, this OSI reference model, which is developed by ISO, International Organization Standard. So particularly this is called as a reference model, which means whatever the recent applications we are going to implement, those applications use this particular model as a reference. We can call it as a conceptual model. Whereas we have another model in computer networks, that is TCP/IP. Basically the TCP/IP which is helpful for implementation purpose. Now coming to this, the basic term, what is meant by protocol? So there are number of definitions for this term, protocol. This is a standard that allows entities in the sense here application programs from different systems to communicate the shared conventions for communicating information, which includes both syntax as well as the semantics and some applications which uses timing also. So simply say that a protocol is a set of rules, right? So we know in any particular computer networks, whenever two nodes wish to communicate, then there exists some communication channel to transmit the information to and fro between those two nodes. There we need to specify what type of protocol those two nodes are used. That is meant by protocol. Then coming to the OSI, what is OSI? Open System Interconnection. OSI stands for Open System Interconnection. So which is developed by ISO, International Organization for Standardization, around 1980s. So this is a basic architectural model for intercomputer communications. Intercomputer communications. What does that mean? Any conceptual model which is composed of 7 layers. That is, we can call it as a OSI reference model. So this OSI reference model which is having 7 layers, each and every layer specifies a particular network functions. So whatever the layers we are having in OSI reference model, each and every layer describes how information from a software application in one node which moves through a network medium to a software application which is existing in another computer. So simply say that our basic terminology, whenever the two nodes wish to communicate, this is node 1, this is node 2. So whatever the process which is executing in this particular node 1 wish to communicate with some other process which is executing at node 2. So this particular OSI reference model describes how the information from one particular software application to another particular software application which moves through any particular medium. So this is the medium which describes what is meant by OSI. Now What is the necessity of OSI? Why we study OSI? See, this open system interconnection model still an excellent model for conceptualization and understanding protocol architectures. For understanding purpose, this is the basic conceptual model, which means what are the key points when compared to the remaining models, why we study this particular OSI reference model, which is modular, hierarchical, and boundaries between layers as well as the interfaces. So we will discuss later. See, this is the OSI stack. We know OSI reference model, which consists of 7 layers. See, from bottom to top. First one is physical layer. Second one is data link layer. Third one is network layer. Fourth one is transport layer. Fifth one is session layer. Sixth one, presentation layer. Seventh one, application layer. Right? See here, these 7 layers are divided into the 2 categories, lower level layers as well as the higher level layers. The low level layers, only these 3, physical layer, data link layer and network layer. Whereas the upper layers, those are presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, application layer. So this is the basic OSI stack representation. See, what are the various headers as well as the data which comprises this OSI reference model. We know the bottom level layers are physical layer, data link layer and network layer. Right? So how this particular physical layer, for example, if you take the system A as a source, system B as a destination, how these 2 nodes wish to communicate. See, whenever the physical layer of source node needs to communicate with physical layer of the destination node, there exists some transmission medium. With the help of that particular transmission medium only, the physical layers of both the nodes needs to communicate. So this is the transmission medium. Right? Within this particular transmission medium, the actual data may be transmitted in the form of zeros and ones. So similarly, the next level layer, that is the data link layer. The data link layer which access information from the physical layer in the form of the frames. So the frames are composed of zeros and ones. Now the upper level layer, that is the network layer. So the network layer access information from the data link layer and it converts those frames into the packets, because we know always the networks transmit data in the form of the packets only. Then the upper level layer, that is the transport layer. We know transport layer access information in the form of the TPDUs, transport protocol data units. Right? So this is the various headers as well as the information units among the various 7 layers in OSI reference model. We know always the end user communicates only with the application layer only. The end user always communicates with the application layer only. He doesn't bother about the remaining layers. So these are the OSI lower level layers. One is, the bottom one is physical layer. Next level, data link layer. Next level, network layer. Layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. For understanding purpose here, we need to describe these 3 layers as layer 1, layer 2 and layer 3. So what is meant by physical layer? What is the responsibility of a physical layer? So the physical layer which is responsible for transmission of bits. See, whenever the two nodes wish to communicate, there always the physical layer communicates with another node only in the form of the bits. Those are zeros and ones. So it is the responsible for transmission of those bits from one node to another node. So where we can use this particular layer? So particularly whenever any application which uses hardware components, there we can use this particular physical layer. See, always implemented through hardware, which encompasses, that will give importance to interfaces like mechanical, electrical and functional interfaces. The best example for this one is RS-232. So this is the physical layer. How we need to implement this particular physical layer? See, physical layer implementation. See, here we have OSI layer from the left hand side. We have the bottom level layer, physical layer, and top level, that is the next upper level layer, that is the data link layer. Right? So how the two nodes may communicate? For example, I need to communicate my source to my destination through some LAN, local area network. There I may use either internet, that is IEEE 802.3 or 100 base T or token ring, that is the IEEE 802.5 and FDDI. So simply say that I may use LAN, whatever the form, I may use LAN to communicate between my source as well as my destination within the network. Then there is a chance to communicate various nodes with the WAN, wide area network. So at the time of implementation only, we need to decide in which way the nodes are communicated while I am developing this particular application. So that is the physical layer implementation. Then next one is data link layer. That is the next level layer, that is the data link layer. So we know data link layer which access information from the physical layer in the form of the bits and converts those bits into the frames. So that is the responsible for error-free and reliable transmission of data. There are number of services regarding the data link layer. First one is error-free, then reliability, then flow control and error correction as well as error detection. See, basically in OSI reference model, according to the OSI reference model, the data link layer is divided into the two categories, two parts. One is a logical link control. This is a logical link control. Then second one is MAC sublayer, medium access control. Medium access control. Then third one, network layer. Network layer. See, we know whenever any node wishes to communicate with some other node, that means whenever we need to establish communication between two nodes, definitely the network layer plays a major role because it chooses the path from where we need to access the data and to which node we need to transmit that particular data. Now second one is how these two nodes may be communicated. Either these two may be communicated in any connection oriented fashion or connectionless fashion. Now another responsibility of network layer is how I need to exchange the information between the nodes as well as the networks. If you take any real-time applications, there are number of networks number of networks wish to communicate. So in the sense here one node is there. This particular node wish to communicate with some other node in the another network. So this is a network 2. This is network 1. This is a network 3. See, this is the node 1. Node 1. We wish to communicate node 1 to node 3. Node 3. Here the intermediate network is a node 2. Definitely the network 1 wish to communicate with network 3 with the help of the network 2 only. So within that, which node is ready to exchange the data from node 1 to node 3. So this is the way how the data is exchanged. So the network layer, the basic responsibility of network layer is routing. So that is very good concept in network layer. Routing. What is meant by routing? What are the various classes of routing? What are the various algorithms of routing? So which is responsible for routing of messages through network. Routing of messages through the network. And that is concerned with what type of switching we are going to use. So we have circuit switching as well as the packet switching. Right? Then another one is the network layer which is responsible for handling the routing between networks. See, network 1 to network 2 as well as through packet switching networks. Packet switching networks. So there is a concept called as that is one of the service provided by the network layer, that is the store and forward packet switching. Right? So each and every node which exists on any particular network, that particular node accesses the information and it transmits that particular information towards to the destination node. So simply say that the network layer which is concerned with exchange of data between computer as well as the network. Within that, it includes addressing, routing and prioritizing. So based upon the applications, here the network layer which includes addressing, routing and prioritizing. See, nowadays we have different networks. Each and every network which requires different software. So different networks which requires different software at this layer. Right? The best example is X.25 standard for network access procedures on packet switching network. So that is the network layer. Right? Next layer is transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, application layer. So these are broadly categorized into the OSI upper layers. As you know that among these 7 layers, the bottom 3 layers, what are those 3 layers? Physical layer, data link layer, network layer, those are categorized as lower level layers. Whereas transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, application layer, those are categorized as upper layers. So what are the responsibilities of these upper layers? So transport layer. So what does that mean? Transport. Just imagine that we need to transmit some information from one region to another region. So in case of networks, region is, for example, this is the region 1, region 2, region 3. So that means whatever the range of communication within this particular network existing in this particular region. So for example, this is, for example, if you take the Jio fiber net, this is Andhra Pradesh, this is Telangana, this is Karnataka. So these are the 3 regions according to this particular Jio fiber net. Now, the transport layer, the main aim of transport layer is to transmit information between various regions within the network. So which isolates the messages from lower level layers and upper layers. That means from where the transport layer accesses the information. So basically from bottom level layers, physical layer to data link layer to network layer, network link layer to the transport layer. But the transport layer is having another feature that is independent of the application. So whatever the application, the transport layer which is independent of that particular application. So which isolates the messages from lower and upper layers. What happens? Whatever the message we are going to transmit, that particular message break down into the various units. Those are we can call as a TPDUs, transport protocol data units. And the transport layer which monitors the quality of communication channel. The quality of communication channel. What does that mean? Quality of communication channel. So for example, we are going to transmit data in the form of connection oriented. Connection oriented. That means I need to establish a wide communication between the two nodes. What is the quality of that particular cable? Whether it is old one or new one or anything damage is there, which continuously monitors by this transport layer. And the transport layer which selects most efficient communication service which is necessary for a given transmission. So basically transport layer is having two options. Whether we need to communicate with another node, right? Either in the form of connection oriented or connection less. So that depends upon the applications. Now the transport layer selects the most efficient communication service which is necessary for a given transmission. And in case of connection oriented, in the early days, we are using these connection oriented services. The best example is landline telephones. Right? So those connection oriented services are reliable in nature between the two nodes, which specifies that whatever the information the source node transmitted, that particular information must reach to the destination. But we don't know exactly how much time it takes. But whatever the information we need to transmit from the source node, the same information in the same order, that particular information may reach to the destination. At the same time, the source node may receive an acknowledgement from the destination node. So that is we can call as a reliability according to this particular transport layer. So once we can get the acknowledgement, then the source node says that, okay, whatever the data is sent, that particular data is reached to the destination. But what happens? What is the drawback existing in these connection oriented systems? There may be a chance to damage the cables. Is it right? So what happens whenever any particular channel or cable is damaged between the two nodes or two networks, then there is no communication between the nodes. So that's why, and then there are number of drawbacks are there, robustness, scalability. Then we can move slowly from connection oriented to the connectionless. So nowadays we are very familiar about the connectionless, right? Using wireless, there are number of wireless communications. Depends upon the requirement or depends upon the application. We may use either Bluetooth or infrared, Wi-Fi and satellite communications. But what is the drawback existing in these wireless communications? There is no reliability. We can call it the less reliability when compared to the connection oriented systems. Because most of the applications didn't perform on this reliability issue, right? So the source node doesn't know that whether all the data packets from my side are reached to the destination or not, because we don't get any acknowledgement from the destination. So this particular transport layer concerned with the reliable data transfer of information between various applications. This is independent of the nature of the application, which includes the aspects like flow control and error checking. Flow control and error checking. What do you mean by flow control? What is the importance of flow control according to the transport layer? See, this is my source node. This is my destination node. So, you know the configuration of each and every node, right? So, the configuration in the sense, we need to describe what is the internal memory, what is the external memory, what is the hard disk capacity, what is the processor capacity, right? So, whenever the configuration of my destination system is less when compared to the configuration of source node. So let us say, for example, the source node can capable of transmitting data 500 MB of data per second. Right? Whereas my destination node is unable to access 500 MB of data per second because my destination node capacity is very less when compared to the source node. So my source node capacity is high when compared to the destination node. So the source node can capable of transmitting 500 MB per second, whereas my destination node is unable to access 500 MB per second. What happens? The transport layer responsibility is whatever the data transmitted from the source node. For example, my data packet size is 500 MB. That is, one packet is transmitted per second. So the source node is transmitted, for example, 5 packets. Whereas the destination node is unable to retrieve all the data packets from the source node because the destination node maximum capacity is 250 MB per second, let us say. So what happens here? Per second, it receives only 250 MB. Whereas the 250 MB which is accepted, at the same time, the next 500 MB packet is at the ready queue in the destination node. So it is the responsibility of transport layer to control that particular data flow. How it will do, we will discuss in the next class. So the transport layer, which includes the aspects like flow control and error checking. Right? Next one, session layer. The session layer basically establish a logical connection between the nodes. What does that mean, logical connection? We know what is meant by session. This is one session. OSI reference model by Muniraj Naidu from IIRE. This is one particular session. So this particular session is having around 40 to 50 minutes. Right? So within this particular session, the two nodes must be communicated. So there exists a logical communication between these two nodes. So according to the OSI reference model, the session layer which establishes a logical connections between the systems. That means the session layer which manages both logons and password exchange as well as the logoffs. We know generally students are very familiar about the session, just like your class period. This particular session means only this particular faculty will teach only on this particular subject. And then after completion of that particular session, automatically which terminates the connection at the end of the session. Terminates the connection at end of the session. Why it is important in case of networks? For example, if you take any communication between the two nodes, either those two nodes may be communicated either in connection oriented fashion or connectionless fashion. So we have the basic principle, right? Request, use, and release the connection. First of all, request. The source node may request the network. That particular source node wishes to communicate to some other destination node. If the network is free, then automatically the network allocates the session to that particular source node to the destination node. If the destination node is also free, then whatever the communication, whatever the network we are going to use between the source and destination, that particular network may be used. Let us say, for example, the destination node is busy. Then automatically the source node receives the message that the destination is busy, please wait after some time. Then, if the two nodes are free, then we need to use that particular communication or connection between the two nodes, source as well as the destination node. Then we can use that particular connection. Once our work is completed, then automatically we need to release that particular connection. Right? So there are a number of parameters regarding this particular release. Either we need to release smoothly or abort the connection or suspend the connection. So this is the basic principle. Request, use, release. See what happens whenever I need to communicate with my friend. I dial his number. That means my node, my mobile node, that is a source node, wish to communicate with my friend. Here, both are using to use connectionless service, that is mobile communication. If my friend mobile is free, then I heard the ring sound. If he lifts the call, and then I need to communicate with my friend. So whatever the information, that particular information, we can call as a listen and talk. My friend is able to access all the information from my side. Once I completed whatever the information I wish to communicate with my friend, then automatically I need to release that particular connection. Just I need to end the call. So that is the session layer. The importance of session layer is simply say that which establishes a logical communication between the systems. Right? Then presentation layer. See this particular presentation layer which provides some formats as well as the code conversion services. Because we don't know exactly which one is the source node, which one is the destination node. For example, my source node is which is available on JioFiberNet. My destination node is which is available on Airtel network. Is it right? So these two are different networks. Automatically, those networks uses different formats. So I need one particular model which converts the format from one node to the another node or one network to the another network. So that is the responsibility of this particular presentation layer, which provides the format and code conversion services. The best examples for this: file conversion from ASCII to EBDIC. ASCII, we know, American Standard Code for Information Interchange, to EBDIC, Extended Binary Coded Decimal Interchange. Another example is invoking character sequences to generate bold, italics, etc. on a printer. See, these are the basic functionalities of printer. So the presentation layer which provides format as well as the code conversion services. So that's why in case of OSI reference model, these two are having less importance when compared to the remaining layers. Presentation layer and session layer. What happens? The session layer provides the session between the two nodes, which manages the session. Whereas the presentation layer, which provides formats as well as the code conversion services. So nowadays, each and every application which is having the inbuilt functions for session management as well as these conversions. Now coming to the important one, that is the last one, that is the upper layer, that is the seventh layer, that is the application layer. So the application layer, we know always end user communicates with only the application layer only. So we don't bother about how this particular application may be implemented, right? So whether we can use what type of LAN and what is the frame capacity, on which network we are going to use, we don't bother. Directly, end user always wish to communicate with the application only. So that is application layer. So which provides access to network for end user. The application layer which provides access to the network for end user. So there are a number of application which are implemented on this particular layer. Depends upon our application. Now, application layer which specifies what are the user's capabilities which are determined by what items are available on this layer. What is the user capability? Then what is the logic needed to support various applications? We know nowadays each and every application which is supported by some other application. So there are a number of tools are existing to automatic data conversions. So all these functionalities are happen only at the application level layer. So the logic needed to support various applications, and each type of application which requires different software on this layer. Each type of application. For example, I need to send a mail from my system to my professor. So how I need to communicate with my professor's system? There is no direct communication, only through email. For that particular email, here I may use either protocol called as a SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, or some early systems you can use FTP also, File Transfer Protocol. So these are the various protocols which are implemented at the application layer. So each type of application that depends upon the application, depends upon the requirement. So either file transfer or remote access which requires different softwares on this layer. So this is the application layer. See, basically these distributed data communications which involves three primary components. What are those primary components related to the distributed data communications? First one is networks, second one is computers, third one is applications. So the corresponding layers for these three primary components are network access layer, transport layer, and application layer. So what is the functionality of these corresponding layers? So we will discuss in the next classes. So today, what we discussed, OSI reference model. What is meant by OSI? What is the importance of OSI? Why we study OSI? What are the various layers of OSI reference model? How each and every layer need to communicate with another one? What are the data units which to communicate among the various layers? And what are the various lower level layers? And what are the various upper level layers? What is the importance of each and every layer? So this is regarding OSI reference model. So just for conclusion purpose, OSI reference model is having 7 layers from bottom to top: physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, application layer. So this is a reference model, right? So in the next class, we are going to see next concept. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.